And welcome to the Mark Goldbridge channel. It's the Mark Goldbridge channel Premier League preview. I'm going to do this every week, I think, for the Premier League. Funnily enough, that's why it's called the Premier League preview. Looking at the weekend fixtures, giving it a bit of interaction live and giving it my thoughts. And you know what? It'd be very easy for me to say that Liverpool are not going to get anything at the weekend. They're playing Tottenham. They're not going to win. And I saw somebody going just before I went live said, I think Liverpool will beat Spurs 4-0. I'm not worried though, because at some point they will slip up. And I thought, you know what? If they're going to smash Spurs 4-0, at what point are they going to slip up, realistically? But I do suspect and feel that Liverpool will beat Spurs in the game of the weekend. It's 12:30 kick-off tomorrow, and it's at, well, I don't know, where is it being played at? In my naivety, I don't even know where this is being played at. Is it being played at Wembley? Played on the local park? I know it's not going to be played at Tottenham's ground, but I do think that Liverpool will win this game, because the reason I think they'll win this game is because United should have beat Spurs. In the first half, we were all over them. We just didn't score. And I think Spurs do look tired. They look tired. Harry Kane looks tired. Dele Alli looks tired for the last over a year. I mean, I don't get it with Dele Alli. I personally thought he was shit in the World Cup. And I thought he was crap for most of last season as well. So, I mean, Dele Alli's not a player to be scared of. Eriksen, he'll score a hat-trick now. Eriksen's one of their better players. And Spurs are a well-organised team. I just think, and I do like Spurs, by the way, I do like Spurs, but I think they look a bit tired. And I think a lot of their players are English and Belgian, and they were in the latter stages of the World Cup, whereas Liverpool are very energetic at the moment. They got a lot of their players back early. They played a lot of pre-season friendlies, a lot more than anybody else, and had a lot of their squad available from around that time. And I think Liverpool just look fitter, quicker, and more in the groove than anybody else. The Anfield groove, pass and move, it's the Liverpool groove, if anyone can remember that. I mean, Barnes and Manaman. If anyone can, Maka can. But yeah, I do. I think Liverpool will win it. Smash them, bash them, I don't know. But I certainly think there'll be goals in it. Well, there's got to be goals if someone's going to win, isn't there? Let's be honest. And I do think that Liverpool could potentially win it by as much as 3-1 is what I'm going to go with that. I think Liverpool will win it. Spurs will bottle it, Mark. Let's be honest, as does East Gaming. Where are they playing? Where are they? And Yannick says Liverpool had a perfect pre-season, which is better, which is probably about true. Bubble and Squeak says you love Salah and Liverpool lately. Look, I wouldn't have Mo Salah at Manchester United if my life depended on it, because the rivalry between Manchester United and Liverpool is real, and I don't think any Liverpool fans would want a United player there. But realistically, that's what this programme's about, being a little bit realistic. And I think, well, Salah is the best player in the Premier League. He is. Eden Hazard can dream on. And I don't think Liverpool are the best team in the league. I think Man City are. But I do think that Liverpool will beat Spurs tomorrow. I'd like Spurs to win, because whether we've got Liverpool fans or watching, that rivalry is real with Manchester United. I'll love it if Spurs win tomorrow. I want Spurs to win because of that rivalry. But I think realistically that Liverpool will win it. Spurs just look a little bit lethargic to me, and I don't think their squad's particularly deep. One thing that struck me about Spurs when they did come to Old Trafford is that, yeah, they had a decent first 11, but their bench was pretty weak. So I think if Spurs are slightly off it, and Harry Kane does look slightly off it, that then becomes a problem for them. Why United will lose, Mark, says Ankit Sharma. Look, I did my prediction yesterday on Manchester United, and I said they'd win. Having watched Jose Mourinho's press conference, I'm just slightly worried. I'm slightly worried about what he said about Fred. I'm slightly worried about what he's saying about people like Fellaini. And I'm slightly worried that he's going to pick the same team. And I just think people are sleeping on Watford. I mean, what's his name? Mark Wahlberg definitely is. He called him Waterford. But I do think that Watford will give us a good game, and Wolves next week. And I'm a bit fearful. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing anti-United being like that. I mean, United have got to win tomorrow. But I'm just slightly worried. I don't know how better we are than really. I mean, Burnley was hard to judge. We've got to win tomorrow, but I'm just a little bit worried. I'm a little bit worried, to be honest, because it's a big game, and I've said that for a long time that it's a big game. Liverpool quick start in the league, but they will burn out, says Muff Diver. I love it, absolutely love it. But let me just talk about another game. We'll come back to those games. Let's just talk about another game, because Cardiff, I believe, are going all the way to the Championship. But seriously, no, Cardiff are going all the way to Chelsea to play London. London to play Chelsea. Now, this for me is wrong. Look, Cardiff, you're wasting your time. You're absolutely wasting your time. If you're a Cardiff fan going to that game tomorrow and you're living on the myth that, it's the Premier League, it's the joy of the Premier League, you're going to get smashed. You're going to get absolutely battered. It's not going to be a great day out. Unless you're going down West End and watching a show, maybe go and watch a bit of the Phantom of the Opera, get yourself a nice Angus beef house. But apart from that, maybe London Eye the next morning, the match itself is a waste of time. There's no joy in watching your team have 10% possession, no shots on goal, and get absolutely mauled by Chelsea, which is what is going to happen. It's a waste of time. And if you're taking children to that, you may as well stick them in front of songs of praise. It's boring. It's not good. Don't do it. So if you're a Cardiff fan out there, just don't do it. Don't bother. Just write the weekend off. Go and do a bit of DIY or something like that. Get some bonus points with your family. Because going down to London to watch yourself get smashed by Chelsea is a waste of time. And think of the petrol. Think of the environment. I'm saying this really seriously. If you think about it, if the Cardiff City team... Look, why doesn't Neil Warnock ring up Sarri tonight and say, look, we'll accept a 3-0 loss right now. Let's not play the game. We'll have the weekend off. You can prepare for Europa League. We'll practice a few long balls on the beach. Get ourselves an ice cream, because you're not going to win. You're not going to win. You're going to get battered. And if nobody goes, think about all the petrol from Cardiff to Chelsea. Think about the bus. Think about all the fans that are going to go there. All that money, all that petrol, that could go to charity. We could give that to a charity and do some good instead of the bad that Cardiff going to Chelsea actually is going to do. And it's a total waste of time. Total waste of time. Absolutely nailed on. Nil thrashing. 4-0 Chelsea, I think, with that one. Absolutely. Always going to happen. Don't get why Welsh teams play in England when there's a perfectly good Welsh league in their home country, says Prince Fresh. He started off okay, but there's not a perfectly good Welsh league at all. I don't mind Cardiff and Swansea and Liverpool playing in the Premier League. Liverpool's not Welsh, it was a joke. But, at the end of the day, there you go. Kevin Nordman. Toxic mentality, Mark. Brighton didn't have a mind like that when they beat Manchester United. Brighton were at home, Nordman. Brighton were at home and had beaten United before. This is Chelsea-Cardiff. They're not got a chance. Managed by Neil Warnock, who is basically the English Tony Pulis, who's Welsh. So there. Anyway, supporting your club is just that. You just go to games you have a chance in, says Walter White. I think we've got a lot of people on this live comments who really have sort of, before they've clicked on this video, they've ripped open their chest, taken out the very small bit of sense of humour they've got and chucked it in the bin, sipped it up. They're still feeling sore and moody. Bloody hell, get a life. Have a bit of a laugh. Have a bit of a laugh. Do you really think I'm being serious about Cardiff? Although, seriously, you are going to get battered. Would you mind Rangers and Celtic joining the Premier League? Look, I ain't talking about pub football anymore. Bournemouth versus Leicester, don't care. Genuinely do not care. Bournemouth versus Leicester. Any thoughts on that? Oh God, 1-1 draw. Chelsea, Cardiff, we've done that. Huddersfield, Crystal Palace, again. These are rubbish games. These are. Crystal Palace should be in the Premier League, but Huddersfield, no. That should be Leeds. That should be Sheffield Wednesday. Why are these big clubs still in the Championship? But Crystal Palace to win that one, I think 2-0. Man City versus Fulham. Look, I like Fulham. I do like Fulham. They've actually gone and got some decent players. I think Seri's a really good player. Not confused with Sarri at Chelsea. Seri, the player. Jean-Michel Seri. Fosu Mendes on loan there. Schürrle, I think, is at Fulham as well. They've got some good players, but they will get beat by Man City. Look, Fulham are good, but they ain't Man City good. Man City are going to win that. I'm going to go Man City to win 3-1 there. Newcastle United versus Arsenal. Look, I would love. I'm going all Kevin Keegan and Newcastle. I will love it. You do not say that about Stuart Pearce. And I'll tell you what, they've still got to go to Middlesbrough. They've still got to do it, and I will love it. I will love it, because he went down in my opinion. Sir Alex, he went down in my opinion, and I'll tell you what, I will love it if we beat them. Off on a tangent, you probably don't know what I'm on about, but Newcastle United versus Arsenal. Remember, one of my favourite Newcastle versus Arsenal games was Arsenal 4-0 up at half-time, 4-4 at full-time. I think potentially this is the sort of game that Newcastle could win, apart from the fact they're shit. So I don't expect them to win. I mean, the loyal 55,000 fans that go there deserve a lot better. They've not had a lot to cheer about, have they? And the ownership is just a farce at Newcastle. But I just don't think they've got the quality to cause many teams a problem. United apart, I think if we went there, we'd probably lose. But we did last year, didn't we? Actually, but no, seriously, I think Arsenal. I don't think Arsenal are going to smash Newcastle at all. I don't think that'll happen, but I do think they'll win. I think they have got quality up front with Aubameyang now, and they do tend to take their chances, Arsenal, and they have got a bit of steel about them in these games. So I think Arsenal will win that. I wouldn't be shocked if Newcastle got something. I just don't believe Newcastle actually have got enough quality. I really do think they're very poor, and I think that's unfair on their fans, who are very, 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 some people would say stupid, but very loyal. They're very loyal, and they've got a very, very difficult situation with their owners. I mean, United fans can moan and Arsenal fans can moan, but these people want to make money. At Newcastle, it's just a very, very weird situation there, and they do have a massive, massive support. But I just don't see it getting any better for them. I mean, Daniel Mulvey says 6-1. Friend 2018 says he feels sorry for Watford. Why? They're top of the league. Next game, Watford United, which I'll come back to. Wolves versus Burnley. Fucking Burnley. Burnley can fuck off. Burnley are crap. They are really crap. And Sean Dyche gets a lot of stick. Gets a lot of credit, but they are rubbish. They were so bad against United a couple of weeks ago. And then they've had a bad start to the season. And I think Wolves have had a good start, really. And they are starting to get into their groove. I mean, I can't wait for Wolves United next weekend. I think Wolves are going to come and play football, and United are going to have to go up a gear. So I'm looking forward to that as a United point of view. But Wolves against Burnley, I'll tell you what, I'll be stunned. I'll be stunned if Burnley get anything in that game. I think Wolves will win that. I think Wolves are going to win that 2-0. I really do. In fact, if you're looking for decent odds, and Manan's just said it, and Rogfi's just said it, I think you'll get Messi. Lingard's just said it, 3-1. Office UK is better than Office US. Yeah, I think Wolves are going to win that one. If you're having a bet this weekend, I'd stick Wolves in any accumulator. I think they'll win that. And then you move into the Sunday games where we've got Everton versus West Ham. West Ham need a win, but Everton, I think, are a good side who have struggled a little bit with this season because of red cards have sort of undermined Everton's start to the season, and they could have a few more points than they've got. West Ham made a lot of good signings, but West Ham's problem is always the same. They moved to that stadium, they lost any intimidation, and Hammers Lane, or whatever it was called, Upton Park, was always an intimidating place to go, especially when your bus gets smashed up. Just ask Jesse Lingard, he filmed it, and where they play now is just not intimidating. Also, I think they've got this issue that some clubs do suffer with, which is total lack of personality in fight. And West Ham fans are very, very passionate people, and West Ham are traditionally a big club, but they're really struggling with a lack of identity and a lack of bottle. And I think Everton will win that game as well. And Pellegrini will probably be looking at the sack. But West Ham job is a bloody nightmare. It is a nightmare. And despite the players that they've bought, there's no rhythm. There's no rhythm there. So I think Everton will win that. I'm going to go Everton 3-1. And then that leaves us with Southampton versus Brighton on Monday night football, I believe that is, which is Monday Night Football. And it's a sort of South Coast derby, Brighton versus Southampton, despite the fact that they're quite far apart. They are on the South Coast. And Brighton, Southampton, again, sort of meh, really. They're not good. They're going to be lower. I think Brighton might go down, actually. I think Brighton might go down. Yeah, I think Brighton will go down. So I'm going to go with Southampton on that one. But bringing it back to Manchester United versus Watford, because I know a few people will be here for that. I think that you can sack someone after 5 games. DC, of course you can sack someone after 5 games. Imagine if I think if United lost 5 games in a row, the first 5, I think the manager would be sacked. Yeah, I don't think it's acceptable for a big club to lose 5 games in a row. I think at West Ham you might get away with it, but I think anybody would be looking at the sack after they're losing their first 5 games of the season, to be honest. It sort of sets you into a rhythm that you don't want to get into. But Watford United tomorrow, I suppose it adds to the excitement for me, because I am starting to think we might lose it. And I think that's because the closer it's getting, to be honest. It's like you have the excitement over the international break because you'll take anything. You'll take absolutely anything, and anything's possible. But the closer we get to this game, I think the more realistic it becomes that, look, United have got to win tomorrow, and a large part of me thinks we will win it. But then a realistic part of me thinks we might lose this game because they are flying high. It is away from home. They're a decent team. The home support's going to be at them, and you never know what you're going to get with United. I think United have got to come out from minute 1 on the ball, right in the head and fast and up for it. And we can't carry any stragglers tomorrow. You know, if Pogba comes out and he's trying too many tricks, pull him off. Not literally, that would be filth, but take him off and bring somebody on from the bench. I think again, how he sets the team up is going to be very, very interesting. But, you know, we're going to do the watch-along for the United stand with that, and we'll see what the team news is when it comes in. But I'm looking forward to it. I think Fellaini probably will start, but it will be a tough match. And Tom Brownbridge says Fellaini's nailed on to start. Look, this is my channel, so I'll say what I don't think I do enough of this on the United stand anymore, to be honest. I need to start doing it because I try and cover both sides, and that's not necessarily being true to myself. A lot of people today saying Fellaini's got to start. I really like him. This infuriates me. It absolutely infuriates me. He is crap. I don't know why do United fans why do they flip-flop on Fellaini so much? He's either public enemy number 1, or he has a half-decent game and everyone's on the Fellaini fun bus again. I mean, do you realise that every other club in the top 6 laugh about him because he's shit? I mean, that's the truth. Everybody I talk to who doesn't support Manchester United laugh about Fellaini. They love the fact that we kept him and begged him to stay. But he has half a decent game against Burnley, who are crap. And all he did is stand on the edge of our box and deal with the high ball and play 5-yard passes. And suddenly everyone's like, play him against Watford, play him in the Champions League, play him here. He tries really hard. And I'm like, oh, for God's sake. It's the circle of United over the last 6 years. It really is. People get it right and start saying this player should never be near our team. Mourinho persistently picks him. He has 6 crap games out of 10. He has 4 okay games, and everyone focuses on the 4 okay games. He's awful. He's crap. He really is. And it's not personal, but he is a crap footballer. In the context of a title race or the top 6, he really isn't good enough. And United fans consistently I'm a United fan. I know a lot of people are United fans, but I'll always be honest about this. I've never known a player where fans flip-flop more. It's as bad. I laugh at Arsenal fans because Wenger in, Wenger out. First 10 minutes, they go 1-0 down, and Wenger out. They equalise, and Wenger in. Fellaini is our Wenger in, Wenger out, because when he does something wrong, which is a lot of the times, everybody gets on his back. 99% of the fan base wanted him to be gone in the summer. And here we are, 2 months later, a good game against crap Burnley, and over 50% are like, I like Fellaini again. And he'll mess up and they'll be like, I always hated him. Whereas me, I've been always consistent. I think it's 5 or 6 years since he made his debut today. And I tell you what, it's been a 5-year prison sentence. I never wanted him at the club. I would happily sell him for a packet of quavers. I really, really would. And that's not a lie. But that's the way it is. And look, you know what? Don't at me. Don't abuse me. Because actually, this is football. Everybody has an opinion. And I think, Harsh Truth Friday, whatever it was I was on about this morning. You're not, I do, when Fellaini's on the pitch, I want him to score. When Fellaini's playing for Manchester United, I want him to do well. Of course I do. Because Manchester United comes before anything. But I ain't going to lie and say that I think he's anywhere near good enough. And I'll tell you what, we'll never win the league with him starting. I've said that for years, and I'll always stand by it. Opinions about Phil Jones, Kevin. Oh God, do you want to get my heart rating a little more? I mean, Phil Jones is worse than Fellaini. He is he is an oxygen thief. I don't even know how he's still at the... Well, I do know how he's still at the club, because he is still at the club. But he's terrible, Phil Jones. He's got more mistakes in him than Fellaini, he has. And, look, he's just a bad footballer, Phil Jones. Really, really bad. And he's injury prone. I don't know how he manages it. I do know, actually. I was on about it this morning. They survive because Mourinho is so desperate to surround himself with players who run through brick walls and have got a good mentality, and ability comes second to that, because Mourinho can only manage certain types of player, which is why you've got this ridiculous situation today where Mourinho's spending 3 or 4 minutes talking about Marcus Rashford, and everyone spent the last 3 or 4 days talking about Marcus Rashford, when he's half the player Anthony Martial is, who gets no mention, who actually, hello, Anthony Martial is still at the club and probably won't be involved tomorrow, and never even gets asked about. Nobody ever asks a question about Anthony Martial in Manchester United press conferences. It's an embarrassment. It's this English-centric obsession that we spend. And I like Marcus Rashford, but why are we spending so long talking about Marcus Rashford? Anthony Martial would be in the same sentence as Kevin De Bruyne and Mohamed Salah if he was playing at one of those clubs and playing every week. He's that good. And he gets no mention in the press, in press conferences, by the club. I think, you know what? I applaud the agenda that's been put out against Anthony Martial, because half the Manchester United fan base don't like him. And if you mention him, they start slating him and calling him lazy. I think it's a massive, massive myth. And I applaud whoever has set that agenda against him, because it's absolute shit. It really is. He's a fantastic player. And I'm not part of Martial FC. He's a fantastic player and he's been forgotten. Why? I don't know. And going back to what I was saying about rivals, Liverpool, Spurs, City, Arsenal, Chelsea, they'd bite our hand off for Martial, and they may as well have him because we don't frigging use him. There you go. Chad says Martial isn't even top 3 at United. Chad, please, come on. I could do with a laugh. Give me a top 3. I'd love to see who our top 3 at United is. And don't put Pogba in there. Don't even have the cheek to put Pogba in there, because Pogba's in the same category as Martial. If you put Pogba in your top 3, you've got to put Martial in there, because Pogba's not performing anywhere near what he can do, and that's the same as Martial. De Gea's obviously in there, but you know, you can't argue with United fans who don't like Martial. They're myth monsters. They've made their mind up on rumour. Oh, he's got a bad attitude. Oh, did you spend Saturday night with him, did you? Did he buy you a Domino's and didn't give you a slice and wouldn't watch X Factor and then, you know, kicked you out and didn't give you your taxi fare home? I mean, where do you get your story that he's got a bad attitude from? Where do you get it from? Mythbuster I am. I'm a mythbuster. It's nonsense. He hasn't got a bad attitude. He's not moody. He does work hard. The stats are out there. But, you know, people want to listen to agendas on Martial, and it does my head in. And I tell you what, Alexis Sanchez gets no shit. Alexis Sanchez gets nothing. He's been at the club 8 months, earning more than anybody else in the Premier League, and he gets no stick at all. He just comes on the pitch, sprints around, and everyone goes, well, at least he tries. And it just makes me laugh. And I don't want people to pick on Martial. I don't want people to pick on anybody. I just want people to make their own mind up on footballing ability. And the way Martial gets treated, I think it's bang out of order. I'm going to start banging that drum a little bit more. Google, I would agree with you that the top 3 Manchester United outfield players on potential are Pogba, Sanchez and Martial. And funnily enough, none of them are anywhere near it. Philip Glover's right. Palace did sack Dabora after 7 games last year. Di Canio sacked him after 5. Chad says that Sanchez is levels above Martial. I think, Chad, you're full of shit. I really do. You've not said anything there that makes me... You know, Alexis Sanchez has done about as much as I would do in a Manchester United shirt in 8 months. He has done literally sod all. And he gets away with it. Anthony Martial, player of the month 3 times out of 5 before Sanchez came. Scoring lots of goals, getting loads of assists. And absolutely the forgotten man. How many United players get into the Liverpool team, says Callum Boyne. As a Manchester United fan, I would say that De Gea gets in there. I think Eric Bailly could get in there if he was being played properly. I think that Pogba could get in there if he was playing properly. I think Matic could get in there. I think Martial would get in there, and maybe Alexis Sanchez. But Liverpool fans would differ with that and say that none of us would get in there and it's very hard because it's all speculation, isn't it? Keep up the great work. Easily my favourite YouTube channel at the moment, says Tyler Atkin. That's a very pressure statement for me to read out there. Mad Marcus is in the house, and I do think Liverpool will beat Spurs tomorrow. I do. I don't want them to, but a realistic assessment I think is always an honest one, and I just think Spurs look a little bit leggy. I thought they looked very leggy against United, and defensive errors gave them the points, and poor finishing from Lukaku. And I think that Liverpool will be more clinical than United, and I think they'll be better defensively than United. And that will make the job harder for Spurs, who just look very leggy. I don't know what Spurs fans think. I mean, you've always got a chance, but do you like Lingard, says Even Busco. I don't mind Lingard. I don't think he's I think very much like Dele Alli. I thought he was crap in the World Cup, but people chose to ignore the fact that our midfield was like a sieve. I think Jordan Henderson had a good World Cup, but I don't think Lingard and Ali did. And I know they both scored goals, and Lingard scored a very good goal. But I think in the latter stages, that midfield was like a sieve, and Jordan Henderson was absolutely all over the place, trying to keep it at bay. I think Lingard's a squad player for a top 6 team. I don't think he's a starter. I think if he went to Everton, I think he'd be like. I don't see a lot of difference between Jesse Lingard and a sort of a Marcus Albrighton or a Nathan Redmond. I think he is that sort of player. You know, he's good, but I don't think he's a top 6 player in the first team. I don't. I think he's a squad player. But squad players are very important. Spurs fan Tyler says I'm going for 2-2. I wouldn't mind a draw tomorrow. It would be good. Somebody just said there, Mane, Golden Boot winner. You know what? If you're looking for an outside bet for Player of the Year, I wouldn't be surprised if it was Mane. I know Salah sort of takes the limelight, but I think that Mane sort of touched on it a little bit when he first came to Liverpool. Got injured. He went a bit quiet. I don't know whether he got injured. I don't follow Liverpool, but he is a good player, and I think, you know, he was always the player last season when no one knew Salah was going to be this good, who people were scared of, and then Salah just burst onto the scene. I think Mane is a very, very dangerous player, and wouldn't be surprised if he won Player of the Year. I don't think Liverpool will win the league, though. I think City will. Make sure you subscribe to the channel if you're new, bottom right hand corner. Alfie LP says, how do you think Forest will do, Mark? I don't do Championship, mate, and I've got no idea who anybody's playing in the Championship. So if you're trying to be a clever prick, fine, but I'm going to give you the fair thing because you've got a Sheffield United. I don't even know what league Sheffield United are in either, actually. Maybe they're not in the Championship. And one. Salah has not been good, though, this season, says Yannick Nielsen. I mean, maybe he's got a bit of a psychological block after the Ramos massacre. I don't know. I think he'll be back, though. It's very hard. United Prodigy says Salah won't be the player he was last year. It's very hard to do it 2 seasons in a row. Very, very hard to do it 2 seasons in a row. And it's a bit like Man City. Man City have never won the Premier League. Retains the Premier League. So that's a big challenge for them mentally as well. The opportunity is there if you can get yourself up. The opportunity is there to win the league this year. I mean, Milner has been underrated. Jay Talks Football. I don't like putting praise onto Liverpool. I hate it. I absolutely hate it. But I think realistic United fans at the moment know where we are and where we need to be. And consistency is something we lack. But Milner's a very consistent performer. I'd rather City win the league easily, says Adabi asked me who I'd rather win the league, Liverpool or City. As I said before, City winning the league is a little bit like bathing in shit, listening to a Michael Owen. Bathing in shit, listening to a Michael Owen audiobook for 4 hours. It's not very pleasant, but you can survive it. I think Liverpool winning the league is like trying to eat a brick. You just can't do it. It's probably gonna kill you. So I can't have it's not nice City winning the league, but Liverpool winning the league would be even worse. And in fairness to Liverpool fans, as I always say, I know that the rivalry is reciprocated. They've had a tough Premier League, haven't they? I mean, I can't imagine when I was very young when Liverpool were winning titles, very, very young, because it was a long time ago, nearly 30 years now. But Liverpool fans have had to endure it over the last 20 years, haven't they? Consistently United winning the league. And, is it going to be their time? I don't think so. But, the law of averages would say you've got to have a time like that, haven't you? So United could do with Arsenal dropping points at Newcastle, David. As sad as that sounds, it would be nice to start getting above them at least. Yannick Nielsen says Liverpool deserve to win it. How can you say that after 4 games? There's 34 more games to go. You can't say Liverpool deserve to win the league. You can't say that. It's like, you can't say that. You can't say that. It's like me saying I deserve to get the last cake because I take the first step to the kitchen from the living room. There's so much more of the journey to go. You can't claim the cake just because you take the first step. 34 games to go. And they're only, Chelsea fans could say the same. They're level with Liverpool, aren't they? They're definitely going to win tomorrow. I mean, Liverpool might not be top tomorrow night because Chelsea are going to smash Cardiff, as I said. If you like this weekly video, please do drop a like, because I'm going to do this every Friday at around this time. I want to sort of build up a bit of content on my channel that's very, very different to what I do on the United Stand, and I think it's safe to say that this is very different. Watford are on the fire, but I feel we are only just getting started. That's from Soph and the hairdryer treatment. Watford are on fire, but we're only just getting started. We need some of that. And you know what? I think what United do need, and I tweeted this out this morning, and it's reciprocal to any team, actually. I put a tweet out about Roy Keane. So you're 2-1 down in the Champions League semi-final away from home against Juventus. You get your second yellow card that puts you out of the final. What does he do? He inspires Manchester United to a 3-2 win with the game of his life and leads them to that final that he can never play in. That sort of mentality and strength, if United had half of that, because we haven't got a player who's even half like that, that's what United miss. That's what United miss in the dressing room, and it's certainly what they miss on the pitch. Mourinho has said, captains aren't that important anymore. Bollocks. Absolute bollocks. If captains weren't important, we would not have won that game against Juventus or countless other Premier League titles. And that's what United miss. And if Mourinho genuinely thinks that, then he really is losing the plot about football, because he had a very, very good captain in John Terry. And that leadership wins you games, scrapes you points, and we've not had a leader on our team for a long, long time. And I know it's a bit of a... I can't really think of any great captain. I mean, who captains Liverpool? I don't know. Is it Henderson? I don't know. Maybe that sort of thing is a dying breed. But again, it's a bit like wing play. Why is it a dying breed? Why are teams not getting themselves these old-fashioned captains now? Because I think it gives you another 20 points a season. It gets you further in cup competitions. But that's what United need at the moment. They desperately are a bunch of millionaires. 11 millionaires with the hands of millions of hearts in their hands every Saturday and Sunday. And not one of them, not one of them could lead a pack of ants to a picnic. And that is the problem at United, the lack of leadership on the pitch, the lack of fight. When we go down, we normally go down even further. It's like quicksand. John Terry was a great captain. I wouldn't call him a legend. I think he was a bit of a bell end, to be honest, off the pitch, but a brilliant player and a great leader. I wouldn't put him in... I was asked this question the other day. Name a better Premier League defender than centre-back than John Terry. Definitely Tony Adams. I mean, again, we're living in the world of people who dropped out their mum's chuff in the year 2000 because they've got no concept that the Premier League actually started in 1992. It just seems that anything before about 2005 is forgotten, even though that's 13 years of the Premier League. The best era of the Premier League was 97 to 2000. Arsenal United was the prime golden age of the Premier League. That rivalry, those two teams, that was the time. That was the time, and I lived it, and I've lived every year in the Premier League. That's the time so far. Tony Adams, easily one of the best centre-backs, easily one of the top 3 centre-backs the Premier League's ever had, and I would put Rio Ferdinand and Vidic in there, and John Terry would be in the top 5, but he ain't better than them 3. Nowhere near. Ferdinand is probably the most complete centre-back that's played in the Premier League because he was technically brilliant and fast. Tony Adams was just a brilliant leader and a very, very good defender. And Vidic, for me, is probably my favourite centre-back ever. I just love the fact that you throw anything in the air and he'd head it away. You know, you chuck a grenade in there, he'd head it away before it went. You know, absolutely brilliant centre-back. So, yes. How about Ferdinand and Vidic? They are the leaders and defenders, MJ Gamer, yes. Stam was a very good defender as well. I don't know whether I'd put Stam in ahead of John Terry because he wasn't at United for many years. Pallister and Bruce, again, I think they were very good, but I wouldn't put them ahead of those 3 that I've just said. Zed Jamie says that Luke Shaw hasn't travelled with the squad to Watford, but Fellaini has. What a fucking surprise. What a surprise. You know what? You get all excited that Luke Shaw's going to play, and it's going to be Ashley bloody Young back at left back, falling over, getting trodden over by people who can actually attack because he couldn't defend a pack of biscuits. Really disappointing, unless it's Mo Salah, and then he turns into Superman. Mark, can you answer a question? Why did Jose, second in command, leave after 14 years with Jose, says Andrew Ebanks? I think he just wanted to travel the world. Yeah, I think he wanted to take up cooking or something. How the hell do I know? I don't know. I am being sarcastic, but I don't know, Andrew. I don't know. I think we needed a change, though. I think we need a change. Company's not been a bad centre-back, to be fair, Chris Thompson. Anyway, I better go. I've been going on. This show's gone far better than I thought. We went on for a long time and it's been really, really good. So please do drop a like on the video if you like it. I hope everybody's enjoyed it. I hope it's had a little bit for everybody. I really appreciate the interaction. And yeah, get involved with the channel. Subscribe if you're new, bottom right hand corner. Drop a like, get involved. And if you haven't watched live, give us your thoughts below. But I could have gone on for ages and ages. I'm back on the United Stand at 8 o'clock tonight if you're interested. And yeah, let's get this party started. Let's get this Friday started. Kick in with the music. I'll give you one job. Kick in with the music. Bloody hell. See you all later, everyone. Rick Astley should be playing now.